welcome everybody to the Squatchers Lounge podcast as we wrap it up here come the end of the year. It has been a very long, strange journey. That's right. It has been crazy. The Hoaxing Exposed editions have definitely been a thing to enjoy, cringe at, and just be mad at sometimes. And tonight is definitely going to be one of those nights. Hello, everybody. I am your host of this mess, the Reverend Jeff Kelly, and we are back live tonight. It is Wednesday, 11/18, home of the Devil Super Gout, and the land of don't have more than 6 people come to Thanksgiving. Have them bring their own food and utensils and sit in the driveway and wave at grandma. Jesus Christ, people. Literally, I remember this. The old people in your life, this may be their last holidays. If you don't have the COVID, you ain't got no symptoms of the COVID, for God's sakes, go see grandma. Bring grandma to you. Go have dinner together. This is fucking enough. By the way, speaking of fucking enough, this show is not for children. If you're under the age of 13, please go ask your parents' permission to watch the show, else it won't be my responsibility. There you are. Okay, we've had all the got the first fucks out of the way of the night, and we're gonna get at it. That is for sure. All right. So, like we said, did two dudes find a Bigfoot foot in the woods? Well, apparently somebody thinks so. Enough that it made a big stink back in 2013. Fresh Bigfoot mystery as police admit they are baffled by a giant decomposed foot found in the Massachusetts woods. That's right. Giant decomposed foot discovered in woodland in Massachusetts, United States. It sounds like the plot of a childhood adventure movie. 2 young boys stumbled across the giant decomposing foot in the woods, leaving the local police to wonder whether it's the grisly find is evidence of the fabled Bigfoot. Why does everybody go straight to Bigfoot? I have no flipping clue, but there you are. But that's exactly what happened in Massachusetts, U.S., where tests are being carried out on the mysterious remains amid speculation over exactly what kind of creature it belonged to. Now, as an educated biologist, I knew what this was the moment that it was released to the internet. And unfortunately, all of those articles that were wrapped up around this being possible Bigfoot and Bigfoot this and Bigfoot that have just gotten buried in the inundation of, the Bigfoot phenomenon out there. And this is really one of the only articles that I was able to locate that really kind of gave an explanation of what went on with this thing. But basically, it's got 5 digits and it's big as a human hand, so it must be Bigfoot. I don't know. Let's keep moving on. Baffled officers at the Lakeville Police Department sent the foot to a medical examiner to see if they could shed any more light on its origin. On March 29th, Sergeant Stephen, that guy, picked up what appears to be a decomposed foot that the boys found in the woods off of the Pantheon Road. It said that, citing the Patriot Ledger newspaper, at least, Police Chief Frank, that guy, sent to the medical examiner who determined it is not human, although it appears to have 5 toes. That's right, because it's got 5 toes. It's got to be human. It's got to be Bigfoot. Also known as Sasquatch, Bigfoot is the name given to a hairy, ape-like creature that some people believe that lives in the forests of North America. Sightings of the beast have been reported over the decades by people who have pointed variously to the mysterious sightings, inexplicably huge footprints and giant nest-like structures as evidence that the elusive creature does in fact exist. Believers who have claimed to have spotted the legendary creature, which was immortalized in the 1987 film Bigfoot and the Hendersons, Harry and the Hendersons, jackhole, says it stands between 6 foot and 10 feet tall, covered in reddish brown fur, and has a distinctive unpleasant odor about it. While fans are likely to seize upon the find as further proof of the beast's existence, skeptics predict that the test will reveal the foot belonged to not to Bigfoot, but to a big bear. That's absolutely 150% correct. The Bigfoot foot was actually sent out and it came back as a bear. Ursus americana. That's right. Do we know what Ursus americana is? Ursus americana is no, not nurses in America. Whoa! Yeah, that's that's probably something we don't want to click on. There we go. Ursus americanus. There we go. Yeah, my Latin's really bad. That's right. The American black bear. So, Bigfoot. Foot. Tested as bear. Now, we have had a lot of things that have come back. That have gone back and forth. The so-called Bigfoot steak of Justin Smejas that was sent to Melba Ketchum, which is apparently subject 6 of her DNA study that has a full Bigfoot genome upon it, was also sent out to 3 other test facilities that had it come back as Ursus americana as well. So that's kind of strange, and I don't really understand why somebody would assume it's a big hand, so it's got to be Bigfoot. I wanted to show you the Bigfoot hands that are out here as example. If you take a look at what those pictures actually look like, there are a few captured images of what they say Bigfoot hands may or may not look like. Of course, we never get the actual picture that we wanted. So, we just kind of, image new tab. There we go. That was one that was always kind of suspect to me. If you look at the actual footprints beside it, how big is this MFer? I mean, holy holies. Now, the knuckle print beside it might be a little more realistic to size in a Sasquatch, but if dude's hands are this big, imagine how. Never mind. There's a couple other examples that I had found on the Bigfoot hand casts. Let me see if I can find that again. I know it is so. There it is. This is the one that I usually like to bring up as an example because this is the only one that makes any actual sense as to scale, replicated size, and the alluded to that there's something in this thumb that's not exactly right. Now, this, I believe, was taken out of the it was either taken out of the snow at the Bossberg incident, which I believe is the case, or it was taken out of a mud pack. And I think the knuckle print was the one that was actually taken out of the mud print. But, within scale, within distance, and the strangely located thumb is what some people who have, seen Sasquatch hands up close actually kind of report that, while their hands look like a primate of sorts, their thumb tends to be in a strangely jointed location, much like a chimpanzee. Chimpanzees have that short little, if you take a look at a chimps, pansy, because I like to say, the chimpanzee is nothing more than or Sasquatch is nothing more than the fifth, is nothing more than the fifth chimpanzee. You've got chimps, billy apes, bonobos, humans, and Sasquatch. But as you can see, the feet have an oddly displaced toe, as well do the hands have an oddly splayed thumb in a location that may be somewhere between the two of us. There's a human thumb, there's a Sasquatch thumb, for example, and then there is the chimpanzee thumb. To have a quick look at it. All right, folks, here's a point in the show where we take a little bit of time and we give you our quasi theory of the week. Let's take a listen to what our man Dean has to say this week. And now, quasi theories from a quasi scientist with your host, Dean Cooper.
Little feet? From Ivan T. Sanderson's Abominable Snowmen Legend Come to Life. Dear Mr. Sanderson, I listened to you on Long John Nable's program last Thursday and was very much surprised that you talked about such things as abominable snowmen in America. I am a housewife, but I majored in biology, attended our state university, and have an MA in plant zoology. I come from Mississippi, but we have resided here in Kentucky for 10 years now. I wonder if you have ever heard of the little red men of the Delta. Nobody thought anything much of them when I was raised, except that one had better be careful of shooting one because it might be murder, or so the sheriff might think if anything came of it. But I was surprised to find that the folks hereabout know it too. Though they took some years to talk to me about it, they are said to be about the size of a 10-year-old kid and able to climb like monkeys and to live back from the bayous. They talk a lot but keep out of gunshot range and mostly go into the water. They are people, and the muskrat trappers say they often wear scraps of discarded linens, old jeans, and such. Yours, etc., Mrs. V.K. If you haven't read Abominable Snowmen, Legend Come to Life, you are an ill-read squatcher. But be that as it may, these little guys that climb like monkeys don't seem to get much press these days. Native peoples knew and know a good deal about them. Like the bigger hairy men, almost all tribes in North America have stories about them. Some of the stories rather closely resemble those of the little people of Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, with supernatural under- and overtones. I'm just going to list a few of the names and descriptions the tribal people gave them. The Yakama know them as the Watistas, the ancient people. They are 2 feet high and wear rabbit skin robes. The Flathead Indians say that when they moved into northern Montana, there was a race of 3-foot-tall dwarves, dark-skinned and with a civilization. The Shoshone have the Ninimbe, who are 2 to 3 feet tall and wear goatskin clothes. Great Lakes tribes had hairy-faced dwarves of different names that had small canoes. The Miami, who did not live in Florida, but in parts of Illinois, Indiana, and southern Michigan, knew the Paisa. The Paisa are about 2 feet tall, with white skin and light brown hair, and wear shirts woven with long grasses, bark, and sometimes fur. The one thing most of the tribes say about their local little feet is that they can be quite dangerous. Some use chipped stone-tipped poison arrows. Others try to lead you astray, to be drowned or led off a cliff. As the 19th century Scottish poet William Allingham warned, "Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men." You may read the text of this on my blog at bydean.com. That's BHAIDIN.com.
Over at bydean.com. All right, there we are, the quasi theory of the week. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's take a look here, and we will start giving some shout outs in the hangout. See who's hanging out with us live tonight. If you haven't said hi to me, I can't say hi to you. So, that might be a small problem. Yeah, for sure. So get down in the chat there, say hi, and we'll say hi right back at you. Let's see here. Maria, Miss Bella Allegria. Hello there, young lady, and glad you are in the house with us tonight. Mr. Thang, treat. It's like I'm stuck, I do stutter a lot. I can't help it. Natalie Smith, and I'm sure Miss Wheezy is probably hanging out with us and with her Squatch family tonight. Hello there. Mr. Shane Barber, God bless you, man. Thank you for the prayers. The devil super gout, the super devil gout ain't nothing to joke about, man. Ain't too many people I'd want to see go through this. Let's put it that way. Don Rife, hey man, I hope you're feeling well as well. You know, we're all a bunch of freaking gimpy yuckies. I guess that's probably why we hang out together. It's okay. You know, we'll all feed on each other's greatness and make each other stronger. I guess that's how it works. There's the man himself, Mr. Dean Cooper. Hello there, sir. Let's see who else is in the house tonight. We've got Cam Squanch. Hello, Cam Squanch. Mr. Cameron Young. Hey, Cameron, get your topic together for the Canadian Sasquatch show for the Superfan edition, and we'll get it lined up the beginning of December. Let me know what you want to do for a show, pal. We'll get it squared away. There's Aaron and Mary Duncan. Hello, the Duncans. Greatest campers I know, man. Those people are legit. 5 inches of rain in the redwoods, but I did take you to Pi, which was beautiful. So, you know, we're going back again the first week of August this year. So if you want to get in early, let us know. Of course, the Duncan spot's already reserved. There's the Mr. Reverend Tim McHugh. Hello, Reverend Dixie Q. Hello, Dixie Q. Glad you're back with us as well. Let's see here. Who else is in the house? Moving on down the lines here. I know that Matt Huseman's out there. God dang it. I still want to call him Houseman, and I know it's Huseman. But, you know, whatever. It's one of those things I'll probably never get over doing. Just pronounce people's name wrong. Obsidian Radio. Hello there, Obsidian Radio. So glad you are with us tonight as well. Moving on down the line here. Where else we got to go? Let's see here. Well, your Hobo Man 5. There he is. We'll say hi to our boy Collier and, of course, Rod Dupree. And he's always in the place to be. And there's Mr. Forrest Crab and Miss Karen Robb. Hello to everybody. And I think that might be the end of the list of the people watching live. And I always say hello to my boy Sean. Oh, all right. Sorry, the super double got me there for a moment, but we are back on track. Hey, if you haven't had enough of the Rev this week, on Sunday, I will be hanging out with Steve Coles on his show, The Squatch DTV. That's right, episode 46. It is from yeah, 2 hours from 8 to 10 Eastern time, I believe. I'm not exactly I'll have to dadgummit, where is that? Hang on just a second. I will verify for you right now because it's right here in my messages. Let's see here. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, sorry. So 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time locally here, and you people in the middle figure it out. So that's that's where we're at with that. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be on the air live, hanging out with the Squatch, the Squatch Detective. That's where we will be. And with that, let's take one last look at it, and we'll get to the rest of our topic here tonight. All right. Yeah. So, you know, I knew this was going to be a little bit of a short one, and I wanted to see if there was a way that we can tie it in a little bit better. And sure enough, you know, I found this one. Now, this one here was just the very next year. The first one, you know, this is from the Mail Online from April of 2013, and this other one is from November of 2014. Just a year and a half later, Florida Bigfoot hunters aided by $100,000 research grant. 2 men from North Florida won the prize courtesy of Spike TV. That's right. I think he goes by the name of Bigfoot Stacy now, but Stacy Brown Jr. Just because they didn't take home the millions after appearing on Spike TV's the $10 million Bigfoot bounty reality show doesn't mean North Florida men are daunted by their quest to prove Sasquatch exists. In fact, David Lauer and his hunting partner, Stacy Brown, have had their efforts supercharged courtesy of a $100,000 grant that, never mind. And they won for being the last team standing on the show. The two have used the money to purchase gear, lots of gear, to aid them in the mission to find the legendary creature. Their arsenal now includes cameras, night vision recorders, DNA testing kits, a dart gun, and more. That's right. Lauer's mission to find proof for the Bigfoot, also known as a skunk ape in the Florida vernacular, began in 2009 when the First Coast News reported while out on a hunting trip he encountered one, Lauer told the paper. Brown and Lauer are members of the Sasquatch Hunters, a Florida group of like-minded folks who were out to prove that skunk apes are real. The organization just staged their first ever skunk ape conference in September and already has plans for the next one in 2015, which did not ever happen. That's right. Lauer told the First Coast News. What does this have to do with anything? Well, apparently the Bigfoot hunters found this leg laying in the swamp in Florida and decided to pull the, hey, look, it's got 5 fingers, so it's got to be a Bigfoot. Primate arm found, primate limb found, limbs of unknown primate found. Days upon days upon days of, hey, look, we found this in the swamp. We don't know what it is. Well, if you'd have taken it to a real biologist, they probably could have told you what it was in the first 10 minutes that they looked at it. And again, tweren't no bear. Look at the thing. The whole arm is like 17 juvenile unknown primate. That's what the problem is. Yeah, let's just play it as a juvenile unknown primate, and then it'll be okay. And and these were the people who everybody knew who they were due to the $1 million Bigfoot bounty. It was clicks, it was views, they knew this didn't have anything to do with Bigfoot, but yet they used it to grow their fame, I guess, or ego into a place that you're basically hoaxing people here. This is a hoax. This is 150% a freaking hoax. When you find something that's not even primate, it has 5 digits. That's great. Doesn't even have 5 digits. It almost looks like it has 4 digits to me. And again, the stupid thing was sent out and tested. And if I remember right, it came back to be like a beaver limb or something ridiculously stupid as such. And it's one of those cases where these things just, anytime anybody finds anything odd in the woods, it has to be weird. It has to be Bigfoot. It definitely is going to be Bigfoot related. Well, in this particular case, that was not it. Looking for someone for a truck to pick up my king mattress. Well, that's great on Neighbors Post. We appreciate that. But that's not what we had in mind. And with that's where the season of the hoax is just going to leave it. It really has been a fun adventure, but next season I got to talk about more positive things, because all of this negative humping crap just has gotten me to a point that I can't deal with it anymore. So we're going to make next season about positive things. We're going to make next season about let's get people out there looking for Bigfoot and doing the right things. So 150% better. And I'm so glad that all of you guys have stuck it out with me. If any of you that out there that watch religiously, you just want to come on for a little bit or just for a segment to say hi live on the air, you message me and we will get it taken care of. You can give us a call. I can record something that you want to say to everybody out there during the holidays. If you want to record a special message for the people out there that watch the Squatchers Lounge podcast, you get a hold of me and we will make sure that happens. And with that, we're going to wrap it up with a Bigfoot campfire story, one of my favorites. So until next week, where we'll probably have a Bigfoot Entertainment Monthly wrap up for the year, we'll see you then. May the Squatch be with you. Welcome to another episode of Real Bigfoot Encounters with Reverend Jeff. This week's story comes to us from a turkey hunter. He had such a scary encounter that it's left him shaken. He hasn't really told this tale to anyone, as it still rattles him to this day. This is that story. I was turkey hunting one morning approximately 4 years ago. It rained all night long, so it allowed me to walk into the forest in complete silence. No leaves crackling and such. I sat up on a hillside overlooking a small creek in a valley. It was nearly pitch black due to the overcast sky, but soon as the rain stopped and the forest started to become brighter. Soon after, I realized I was sitting within 15 feet of several birds that were roosted in the tree next to me. I didn't even know that they were there until they started shaking the rain off. My gun was already propped up on my knee and pointed at my decoy. As things became brighter, I could make out most of the valley floor, and I continued to watch the birds roost next to me. Soon after one of the birds gobbled, I began to hear something off into the distance, almost immediately after. I only remember this because it was a very strange pace sound. The rhythm of it seemed odd. Nothing I could think of would make a sound like this. I could see down the valley to my right for a fairly long distance. However, up to my left, a separate hillside came out, and I couldn't see up the valley in that direction. The noise continued with almost near-perfect rhythm for several minutes, and soon I realized that the sound I was hearing was coming from up the valley in the direction that I could not see. The turkeys in their roost next to me stopped gobbling, and they started to become silent. A few moments later, the forest was becoming fairly bright, and I could see most everything around me. All of the birds roosted in the tree flew down and hit the forest floor running. They didn't even seem to notice my decoy. I remained perfectly still, watching the birds run through the forest down to my right through the valley. They acted as though something spooked them. At first I thought maybe that it was me that spooked them, but then it occurred to me that sound that I had heard had stopped about the same time that the birds took off. As soon as the birds were out of sight, the noise began again. I remained still, leaning against a large ash tree. Maybe 1 minute after I lost sight of the birds, the sound became much louder and apparent to me what it might be. My first instinct that it was another hunter walking through the forest. However, to this day, I'll never forget what I saw in the coming moments. The sound with an almost steady rhythm reminded me of what it sounded like as if you were walking on dry leaves in the forest. There was not a drop of wind in the morning, and I believe that the valley might have been echoing the sound. A few moments later, I caught sight of it, maybe 50 yards to my left, coming into view on the bottom edge of the valley. At first, I thought it was a hunter in a ghillie suit, but upon closer examination, I realized that this was no human wearing a camo outfit. It continued to walk upright on 2 feet down the valley to my right. When the creature got to the bottom of the hill outcropping I was sitting on, it stopped dead in its tracks, remained perfectly still momentarily. I think it was at this point I truly realized what I was seeing. When it stopped and stood still, it became nearly invisible in the forest. It seemed like an eternity passed while I sat against the tree, uncontrollably shaking. I was scared out of my wits, even with a 10-gauge shotgun propped up on my knee, pointed in the direction of that creature. What happened next scared me so bad, I would have bet my life on it that I was going to have a heart attack. The creature turned its head and looked directly at me. It stared directly into my eyes, and I stared back into the eyes of this creature. It was an unknown amount of time. It made no sound. It did not move, only stared at me. I was dressed in full camouflage, including a face mask, so maybe it wasn't sure what it was seeing? Shaking so bad at this point, the only thing I could think of was to defend myself. I clicked the safety off of my shotgun. When I did this, the creature went into an almost crouching position, only it seemed more like it was in a position that it would allow it to move away quickly. The stare down went on for, many more minutes. It seemed like forever. I readied my shotgun, not afraid to move anymore since it was apparent I had been seen. When I positioned my left hand under the forearm of the shotgun, the creature sprang up, nearly causing me to pull the trigger. It continued its walk through the forest with its head turned, watching me. I continued pointing my gun at it. I never pulled the trigger. I was so afraid I didn't know what to do. Eventually, I lost sight of it. I jumped up as soon as it was gone, and I ran back to my truck without stopping to rest once. To this day, I will never forget what I saw and the feeling of absolute terror that overcame me. I don't want to be famous, nor do I want my story posted all over the internet. I just thought I should tell somebody my story. Anonymous. Just like many of the sightings of this elusive creature, for this turkey hunter, it was the scariest moment of his life. For me, it's just another real Bigfoot encounter. Thanks for watching. I'm Reverend Jeff, and may the Squatch be with you.